Good evening and welcome back to Prime of Midlife. It is of course Saturday evening, I'm at the table, and tonight I wanted to talk about some thoughts regarding what's happening in the next year or so and how people are reacting. And it was actually thanks to Tanya who put the comment on earlier today. She's been checking on her lighting preps for if the power goes out, and she was wondering about the neighbours she could see, where all the lights are on, everything seems to be hunky-dory, and it got me to thinking as well, what happens in such a situation? And I remember when I was young, in the 70s when we had power cuts, and our house ended up being full because everyone could see that we had the brightest light in the street. It was obviously not candlelight, which it wasn't, it was a Tilly lamp, which I don't actually know how it works, but it was a really, really bright light. And we ended up with most of the people from our area of the street because we had light. We had a coal fire at that time, so that wasn't a problem, but the houses opposite, they had electrical hot air heating. So they came over for the heat, the light, etc. And in our case, it may also be for food as well, because with the cost of living crisis going the way it's going. And what do we do then? You know, it is a very nice thought to be able to help out your neighbour. And, you know, I'm happy to do that. But I wouldn't want to be thinking that every house that can see my house is going to be coming in because I've got the lights on, or because I've got a wood burner, or because they know I've got preps, which, by the way, I don't have nearly as much preps now because I brought a whole lot through to Perth. No, not to Patrick's house. I have another area in Perth that I can use. So, you know, it's quite sad that I need to think that way, but, you know, someone put in the comments, you know, that everyone who knows you, which means pretty much everyone in my local community, knows you've got food, knows you've got preps. And so just putting it out there, I don't have nearly as much as I had. I just have the basics now. So but if you're in that sort of situation where your neighbours know that you've got preps because you've been trying to tell them, trying to warn them, and they know that you've been stocking up, are you going to be the first door that they come to? Which, that's all well and good for the likes of me. I mean, I've already said to Mandy to come down if the electricity goes off because I've got the wood burner. Mandy's just by herself, similar to me, or even if Patrick's there. But what happens if the house next door is a large family? What happens if, you know, the old couple that stay beside you that you think, oh, I'll help them out, but then their two grown-up kids come with their 3 kids each, and all of a sudden you've got 6 kids, 4 adults my age and 2 adults normal, so that's 6 and 4 is 10, that's 12 people who could be looking to you to look after them if the power goes out. And I don't have the answer, I really don't. What I am thinking, my first thought is I'm going to put up really, really thick curtains to try and cut out any light escaping from the house. I can't hide the fact that I've got a wood burner because I've got a chimney sticking out my roof. What can I say? But it is something to think about, it is something to try and keep in your mind, because I think the budget on Thursday, we've already been warned it's going to be dreadful, that we're all going to have to tighten our belts, it's going to be austerity too, hence there will be a whole lot of shopping getting done tomorrow. As I said, it's payday, this is the big monthly shop, so I will be trying to make sure I've got stuff that is useful, that will last a while. And any odds and ends, things like, you know, if you need your batteries or things, get them now. Anything like that, I will be looking for tomorrow, hopefully. Saying that depends how I feel, because the last time I went out for a big shop, I got very little. Isn't that always the way? You go and buy stuff and you know, you're like, right, I'm going to get this, this, this and this, and you don't find anything you want. and then when you're out with no money, you find everything you want. But yeah, so it's just a wee thing that's going round in my head, as it obviously is going round in Tanya's head as well. What's going to happen when, if there's a situation when the power goes out for more than a couple of hours, and neighbours are cold, or neighbours are hungry, or, you know, anything like that. So we definitely want to be making sure that we're looking after ourselves, we're looking after our families, and possibly put the word out that we're not looking after the rest of the street. And I feel so bad saying that in some ways, but I think the better way that we could do that is make sure that we know all the community fridges, the food banks, anywhere, you know, local churches that are doing warm bags or anything like that. Make sure you know where they are, so that if someone comes to the door and go, oh no, I'm sorry, but if you go along there, there's the food bank, or if you go along there, there's this. And possibly, you know, just make sure that you've got that information, so you can let people know now, you know, that's where you've got emergency backup because you're going to the food bank or whatever. So yeah, a bit of a ramble tonight because I haven't quite sorted out what I'm thinking. But Tanya, I know where you're coming from now that you've said that. Yes, it's something we're going to have to think of. So there you go. So I am going to go now, and I'm going to have this wonderful little tub of ice cream that Patrick got me as a wee treat. So I'm going to go and have some ice cream now. So I will go, and I will catch you later.
Yay!